a 1. And we're live. Super Smash got super smashed. What's up, Smash? How you doing? Hey, Vero Claw. How are you doing today? Anyway, today we're going to be working on RPG stuff.
Yeah.
Feel free to hang out. Oh, it's gonna crash on me, isn't it? Nope. I can change these a little bit. $90. What's up, Shadow Knight? How you doing? Hey, Drag, what's up, man? Hey, DVD. It's good to see you guys. How's it going? How's it going? Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to be working on polish today. I'm just going to try to go, do as much as I can. But I'm also going to answer questions and read chat, so we're going to hang out and do stuff together. Did I not save it? Didn't save it. Save. There it is. Okay. That's much better. Well, it's... Oh, I know what's happening. Okay. It's like an on-hover code thing. This is also kind of weirdly placed. Am I feeling better? I feel okay. I mean, I don't want to take I don't want to take the day off or anything. It just takes so long. I don't know why. The older you get, the longer it takes to, you know, overcome infection. Back in my day, I could get over an infection in 2 days. Now it takes me like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking, though. How are you feeling, DVD? Hey, Barry. How you doing? Today is the closed beta for New World. Is anybody playing that? That's Amazon's next big MMO thing. And apparently World of Warcraft's dying. And everybody's just leaving en masse. Like, they have like massive unsubs going on right now. And I think the majority of them are going to Final Fantasy 14. Which, I mean, okay. 14 has got it's more modern RPG. I like kind of classic MMOs better than the more modern ones.
I wonder why they called it New World, because it looks very old.
I don't know. They keep changing. Like, it started off, it was like very PvP centric, and now it's just got some PvP. And I don't know. They're not quite sure what they're doing with the design, and they're just trying to get player feedback. And like, if you buy it, you get in.
Yeah.
But like, you can. I think T and I applied to be in the beta, but you usually don't get accepted. Depends on how many people buy it. If enough people buy it, then they don't even let people in. So I'm not expecting to get in to the New World beta, but I do want to give it a try at some point. But I'm not going to pay to beta test it for them. Get the fuck out of here with that.
I know, right?
They're supposed to be paying us. Let me turn you up. I don't know what's going on.
How greedy can you get? Yeah, I'm not turned up. For what?
You're just facing away. Yeah, it's hard to talk at the microphone when it's faced in the other direction. Turned up.
For what?
All right, let's look at the change that I made. I don't want the boxes to overlap, and so that's what I'm working on here. Boom, 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 boom. That is better. Much better. Oh my god, look at that. It's fucking sick. I feel like the icons behind it are too big, but I want to switch them out anyway with some other ones. Let's see. What do I have, though? I have a sword, but it won't really match. Because I have a bunch of artwork from Vigistella, but like, I don't have all of the pieces I would need. I'll leave the icons as the faded out background. I'll just shrink them a bit, and then I'll make the new items not with icons, but instead with the new artwork. That's much better though. Now that, like, when you select on it, it makes it, 10% bigger, and it darkens the background. Boom, 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 boom. That's good. Let's shrink these icons up next. Keep working on the polish. The polish. It's Cataclysm 2.0. Let's lose 6 million subs overnight. Man, I remember when Cataclysm came out, my friends were like, hey, you gotta come back and check it out. My old World of Warcraft friends. And I'm like, fine. I bought the expansion. I played it for a week, and I quit, unsubbed, and I haven't touched World of Warcraft since Cataclysm. Since a week after Cataclysm came out, or maybe a week. I only played for a week, and it was after Cataclysm came out, like maybe that first month sometime. So the first month of Cataclysm was the last time I played World of Warcraft ever. I really enjoyed World of Warcraft when I played from the beginning, and then I really enjoyed Burning Crusade all the way up to Wrath of the Lich King. And then it kind of got played out for me around, like, I got done with the Lich King stuff. And then I didn't do the Pandaria stuff, and I just quit for a long time until Cataclysm came out. I played a week, and that was it. Drag says Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King were the best ones. I think so too. That was my heyday of World of Warcraft. Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. I was all about it. But I haven't really touched it since then, if you don't count the week of Cataclysm, which was not fun. It was just like, there goes that money.
Rip.
Hey Martin, how you doing? How did you make that menu? It's the HUD maker, yeah. DVD agrees. I've been playing Final Fantasy 11 again, It's 19 years old now, and it's getting like a huge influx of new players. And I think most of those players are coming from World of Warcraft. Like they're tired of World of Warcraft, and most of them are moving to Final Fantasy 14, but some of them are moving to 11, which is kind of cool. And I think that some people who try 14 might like it and also want to try 11, so that's good. 11, they got Yoshitaka Amano back to do like new cover art for it, and it's really, really hypeu. It's really cool. He's doing like they're putting money into this 19-year-old game. Why are they spending like money on this 19-year-old? It's because they're getting money. They're making a lot of new players, which is really tight. I really like that. Let's shrink these icons up a bit here. Head background icon. What do I think? 250? 250? That's probably good. I mean, may need to do some moving of these around. What games are you guys playing right now? What are you guys into?
Gregory, if you have graphics showing up as a black square, from what I know, it would seem that you have too many graphics loading. Right? Because like the icons, they show.
Oh, too many icons. Your icon PNG file is too large.
Well,
Giggity.
it's not the icons, though. He's saying one of his sprites is showing up black on Android. I would
on
say
Android, though.
Yeah. I don't know, because I haven't deployed to Android, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But I know it happens with the icons if you have too much.
I'm not sure the case on Android. It could be a lot of things. It could be video card drivers, operating system.
Yeah, it could just be that one
It
Android.
could be that there's not enough RAM and it can't load that texture.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, it could be a lot of things on Android. On PC, it's much different. I can clear cut give you an answer, but if you're talking about why does it do this on Android, no fucking clue, man. It could be a number of things. That's much better. Now I just need to like put them more center. Which one looks off? The shield needs to go down into the left a few pixels.
Yeah, Gregory, you should look in to see if Android has like a loading cap, and maybe you're exceeding it. Because when the icons surpass a loading cap, they show up black. So it's just making me think of that. Might not be it, but that's where I'd start looking.
Oh no, down is 222. Let's try that. Other way. It needs to go a little bit back to the right, so 976.
Phasmophobia? I think I've looked at that game. Hold on, let me look it up. Pretty sure I've considered buying it, but have not pulled the trigger.
Probably good for that. Why don't I do this? That'll help me. I normally do this on multiple monitors, but for streaming it, I'm gonna just show it all the same.
I'm not gonna play Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
Yeah, Phasmophobia. I'm not playing.
Why was? Oh yeah, is that team-based game?
It's like a scary game.
Like, is it a team-based?
Yes, it's
puzzle type
player, but it's also horror.
I'll never play it, Drag.
It's VR. Here's the thing, even if it wasn't horror, I can't do this kind of VR game because it makes me feel like I'm gonna puke. I get motion sickness.
I'll never play it, but I know there's a big audience for it. There's a place for it. Exposition 975.
I tried playing like a detective game on VR once, and I really liked it. I was enjoying it, but I had to stop after 10 minutes, and then I had to lay down because I thought I was gonna vom.
I heard that goes away after a while.
If you, like play like a minute or two a day.
Uh-huh.
I don't have that kind of dedication.
Yeah.
For a game.
cape a little bit over.
I'm happy with my Beat Saber. It doesn't make me feel sick.
I like Beat Saber. That is a good game.
Yeah.
That one's fun. I mean, the ring is fine, right? Could go over a couple.
Oh, Drag's not playing it on VR. You don't have to play it on VR. Still, I've never been one who likes, like, I don't know, like watching suspenseful or horror movies. I don't even like watching movies, so interacting with it. I did play, what was that one with the triangle head? Something Hill. Silent Hill?
Silent Hill?
Yeah, I played Silent Hill a little bit when I was like 20, but it scared the crap out of me. It was very creepy.
I like this a lot better. What do you think, T? I shrunk the icons, I shrunk the boxes by 10%.
Ooh, I love it.
And then I shrunk the on hover effects as well so that they don't overlap at all.
Uh-huh.
And now they...
That's really nice. I like it.
This is like what it looks like if you have nothing equipped.
Mm-hmm. They'll be brighter if you have something.
You'll have, yeah, it'll be like
yeah.
full opacity on top layer once you have like an actual thing there. It's just to let you know what goes there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that helmets will go here, capes will go here, right hand, left hand.
That's really good.
I mean, it's weird because this is the right side and this is the left side. I'm calling this right and left, but if you look at the doll facing the screen, this is his left and his right. But
you go by your left and right.
I'm just gonna.
In
I'm just gonna.
Environment.
Yeah, in this 2D environment, I'm gonna say this is right side, this is left side.
Yeah.
Because it's on the right side of the screen, left side of the screen. So. Drag, do you have a VR headset though? It's really cool. The Quest 2 is what I recommend getting because it's not super expensive and you can get a $20 software.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And connect it to your PC and play anything on PC on your VR headset.
Yeah, you can stream all your Steam games on it.
So we added the Bright Effects plugin as a test yesterday, and I'm just keeping it now because it looks so much better. It makes everything look better. The little fish boy. Look at our fish boy. It's so
cool.
Yeah, go fish boy. Look at that good boy right there. That's a good boy.
Yeah.
Hey, Sir Legna, how you doing? So I think there's some items in the database I may need to add. Let me just take a look. What do we got? No, they're all accounted for right now. I was going to add lumber though, like the raw logs, and then add lumber as well. But before I start moving back into the crafting systems, I do want to add some kind of battle system. Obviously this is the harder thing to deal with. I can easily add new lumber systems and do another like craft the lumber. It'll essentially be a copy paste of the smithing thing, which is basically right here. You see it's got icons to let you know what items are required, and they have their level requirements, and then you can't craft it because I didn't mine any ore, but if I go over here and mine some ore, then it'll let me smelt that ore into ingot. So I could easily do something by copying like this whole setup and putting it in for like processing raw logs into lumber, which I will do at some point. Let's get one more 6. Okay, and then we'll smelt a couple of these, and then, you know, boom, we get that, and then we get that. So I'll add that later, but for now, let's go for a jog and level up our HP. That's what we'll do. Level up our HP. That's our endurance training. I'm thinking I should add some elements for the skills here as well. So yeah, I might as well do that real quick. In fact, I want to make these a little bit smaller, but just on the left-hand side to let you know your skill level of your stats. So I'm going to line these up a little bit better and put them in like their own group. Right on. Enjoy your food, Drag. Have a good meal. All right, let's see. Do I have these in a group? Buffs group. I already made a group for it. Okay, cool. Let's do some modifications to this text. I want it to be smaller, like 20. Maybe even 18. X position can be 100. Y position can be 100. No, I want it to match where the HP is, so let me cancel the change because I like it where I put it. 18, but we can change the maximum width of it to be 20 works just fine because I'm gonna have extra room there anyway. I just don't want to eat up too much room. Nah, 20 and 150. I mean, it makes sense. Okay. A lot of it's trial and error. All of this whole process is just keep changing stuff until it looks right. Try to line it up as best as you can. That's the idea of making this game look good, is just lots of polish, lots of changing font sizes and moving stuff around, adding little graphics, more animations, and so what I'm going to do here is copy this element and paste it in here and drag it down underneath it and call it what it is, which would be endurance, strength training. Hold on, what did I call it though? Obviously it's not this. I need to come up with a name and add some elements to this one as well. Endurance training, meditation training, focus training. Maybe I can just get rid of the training and call it max HP, max MP, TP, strength. Yeah, I'll put the stat names here. That makes the most sense. Endurance group, add a new component, simple text, and we'll call this max HP text. And it's just going to say max HP. It's going to let the player know what it's training. Should we add some flair to it? Yeah, why not? Font size 30 with our Roboto. Training. Yeah. I think we're gonna just go by eye. Right in the center. Could. Should I put it right in the center? Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. Okay. Now I'm gonna save it, and we're gonna move this to the bottom of. It's got to be underneath the bars. That way it shows up as above it. I know that's counterintuitive, but like it's going to draw from top to bottom. So whatever it draws last is going to appear on the top layer, which you see. So it's got to be at the bottom of the group, in the components list. Cool. Endurance group, good to go. Meditation group. Go down here, add a new component, text, max MP. This one's easy because I'm actually using the center of the screen, so that works perfect. Oops, I should have called this max MP text, so I know what I'm looking at when I look at the component list. That one's done. Moving on to focus. Add a new component, text. Oh no, I moved it too soon. I can fix this though. Just by popping it to the side. Ah, it's too much. That looks good. Trying to line it up just right. Essentially can copy this component. I call it intelligence? I think I call it intelligence. At first, HUD Maker is very intimidating to use, but like the more you use it, the more you realize how much you need it to do really cool shit. It's such a cool tool. Cool tools. You can make your game look like nobody else's game. It can look completely different like nobody else's game because you design everything. You have to do it all. It's kind of like Game Maker Studio in that sense. So if you like using Game Maker Studio, you can use MZ with HUD Maker and you can still get that sort of experience where you're adding a HUD in Game Maker. But I mean, doing HUDs in Game Maker Studio is really hard. It's kind of a bitch. So I really would recommend using MZ instead of Game Maker Studio 2 for designing a HUD, and use the HUD Maker. Now Godot, on the other hand, is phenomenal when it comes to making HUDs. It's just like this, but node-based instead of object-oriented. I think Godot is a really good engine, but I'm not that great with it. Obviously, you're going to get good at what you spend time on, and I haven't spent a ton of time on it. I tried to use it seriously for like a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then I was like, oh gosh, let me go back to RPG Maker because it's so much easier. But it is fun, and it is good when, like, it's more optimized and better in a lot of ways. But it's more complicated and worse in that it's harder to learn how to use it. But I do like Godot. No doubt. Have any of you used Godot before? And their native GD script is pretty good. And I know I heard a complaint, like someone's like, oh, I don't want to spend my time learning another language when it's proprietary, and it's like, you know, GD script only works inside of Godot engine, but it's basically Python. And if you learn GD script, you're also learning Python in a way. And it's just like in Game Maker Studio 2, it's just like JavaScript. It's very, very much just like JavaScript, except it's built in. So, you know, GML, which is Game Maker language, is like, it's essentially, if you write JavaScript shit in there, it just works.
Well, yeah, I think they made it that way specifically, where you can just use JavaScript. And I think you could use a couple other languages too.
For GML, I'm talking about.
Oh. I thought you were talking about
what are you talking about?
Godot.
No, I don't know. I think Godot can use JavaScript, but you're better off going on the Python route because it's native. So they even have GD script. You're like half paying attention to the conversation.
Yep, I am.
Maybe you should not do that.
I didn't hear the switch over to GMS.
Right.
Yeah.
Charm text. I kind of jump back and forth and ramble, so it's hard to follow if you're not actively paying attention. I apologize, but it's derailing a bit. Oh no, it's Charm goes here. I'm going over lots of different engines and pros and cons and what people choose to use, and I'm kind of curious. I know most of the audience here uses RPG Maker because it's fun and easy and simple. But I was also curious if you guys are using any other engines, and if so, which ones and why. Not Charm. Speed. There. That got a significant improvement because now you know what you're training, even if you're not sure what the thing does. So it's very specific. This gives you max HP, this gives you max MP, yada yada yada. Ad infinitum. I like how it auto updates, no restart needed. Sick. You make my head hurt. Python is just like JavaScript. Who said that? I didn't say that. I'm talking about Game Maker language, Sir Legna. Are you also not following the conversation? I'm saying in Game Maker Studio 2, you use a proprietary language called GML. And GML is very much just like JavaScript. Python is much different than JavaScript, but they're both object-oriented languages, and they can do similar things, but obviously they're very different. I did not say Python is just like JavaScript. The only way that they are like each other is they're both object-oriented programming languages. And yeah, that's a similarity. They're both programming languages. Travis Newcomb says, by the way, so far you've gotten so much done on this Drifty. Thank you, Travis. This is a game I want to sell, so I have to not dick around too much and actually keep polishing it and keep making it look better, because if I don't, then it's going to take longer to sell it, and yeah, and then money is farther away. I mean, but I'm doing fine money wise. It's not a big deal, but I would like to do more things, and if I had money I could do more things. So yeah, let's make a game and sell a game. How about that? If I could put out a game every 2 years, that would be ideal. I think every 2 years putting out a game would be nice supplemental income, considering they're not total flops, which is always a risk. Have you made this solely in RPG Maker and HUD Maker? So far, yes. Well, I've used Sprite to do some graphics. Like these backgrounds that you see, I did them all in Sprite. The beautiful thing about Sprite is that the file sizes are extremely small. If you ever wanted to put a game on mobile, then you could definitely use Sprite for all the assets, and it would be extremely small and compressed and like still super fast, clean. Oh, what do you mean? Custom JS? Oh yeah, I have to add custom JS all the time. I've had to add some custom JS. Well, HUD Maker lets you include code. Like for example, let's look at our experience bar. And then I'll show you like how I had to use custom code to do that. I guess I'll just level up. Let me level up a cheaty way by going to the console. And I did this the other day. So keep your eye here. I'm going to give my character some experience. In fact, let's just start with 10 experience. We're going to get 10 experience, and you see how they both level up. Both of these bars are two different algorithms or formulas, but they're essentially the same thing. One takes the maximum amount of experience you have and then looks at the maximum you need to level. The other one on the bottom does some JavaScript calculation. Now you see when I leveled up, I got 50 exactly. It put the bar all the way back to the beginning of the bottom one, because now we're still at 0%. We're 0 or 1% of the way to the next level. But my main experience points bar is, I have 50 experience and I need 162 to level up. So if I use the built-in mechanics, it looks like that, and it'll never go back to the beginning because it would have to go. This would have to go to 0, but it's storing how much I have. So let's do this again. Gain more. You see that they're both going to reach the finish line at exactly the same point. But when you level up, you're going to carry over some. This one goes back to the beginning, and then this one goes to a new calculation of how much you have over how much you need to get to the next level. Now let's move this to like 50. You see it's going, but they're still going to end at the same point. That one leveled me up. So we'll do it again. They're gonna end at the same point. That one leveled me up again. And now, they'll both hit the level up point at the same time, but we're running different code to check to see, those bars. So now let's look at the custom code in order to make these bars. Like a rapper. Bars. Got bars, yo. Bars for days. That's in our status screen. So where is this at? Current skill progress bar. No, it's at the top. Higher. Endurance. Yada yada. Here's the two gauges. Experience gauge. This is the first one. And the built-in function here is checking with HUD Maker party member 1's experience, right? That's the minimum. And then for the maximum, I still had to run JavaScript. I had to check actor 1's how much experience they need to the next level. So it's simple, one line, right? That one's really, really easy to understand. How much do you need to the next level and how much you have. but you can see it doesn't go to 1%. So in order to make that other, the next bar, I had to do a little bit of a different calculation. I had to find the actor. First of all, I'm using actor 1 only for this, so this is why A is actor 1. But then I'm saying actor 1's experience per level and actor 1's level minus 1. And now that's going to be B. And we have to subtract this from the current experience we have to get our minimum number. Otherwise, it'll never become 0 again, and the bar won't go to the bottom. So you do gameactors.actor1.experience for level, gameactors.actor.level minus 1 inside of after you do gameactors.actor1.current experience, and you subtract all of that from it, and that'll give you the minimum. This will give you 0 again. You're going to return 0 at a certain point, and so now that it can return 0, you can have a minimum value, and then the maximum value is a lot easier. You're just going to return the game actor's next level experience minus his current level experience, and that's going to be the maximum. So yeah, like I still have to do custom JS to make this work right, but for the most part, you're just adding components and changing graphics, and you don't need a bunch of fancy bars. You can make gauges with just using game variables. Thank you, Shadow. I'll let you guys know when it's done, like next year sometime. Could you show me how to make a stamina bar, Kuma asks? Yeah. Sure. Let's make a stamina bar real quick. The easiest way that I recommend you do it is you use 2 game variables, because you have total control in your parallel process events for game variables. Let's make a stamina bar that fills up over time. How about that? That's a good idea. And I'll just leave this in the game and find a use for it. So let's make a 4th one of these, and we're going to create another one called stamina. So I'm going to do some quick stuff to make it look nice, because, I mean, the bar is easy, but making it all polished and look nice will be the complicated part. I suppose I'll start with just the bar, and then we'll polish it up as time goes on. So let's take the tech points gauge, and, well, actually, no. Let me do it from scratch. I'm going to do it from scratch so you can see in the HUD Maker. I'm going to, let me save my progress. I'm going to create a new component, and the first thing I'm going to do is create a group, because I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in a group, and we're going to call this stamina gauge group, or just stamina group. We'll call it stamina group. And it doesn't matter what you say at first, because it won't take your X and Y. There's a few bugs. You hit OK, then you double click it again, and you set these to 0. I could explain a bunch of reasons why you want to do this, but let's just move on, right? You want to set this to the top left corner so that when you input numbers later on, anything in the group, it's all relative to its parent group holder. So just set it to 0, 0 and move it later on. Like, they're going to have a bunch of groups right here. Just do it that way. Trust me. Okay, so we've got our group. We're going to add a new component, and then we're going to add a gauge. And we're going to call this stamina gauge. Now, we need 2 variables for this. We're going to set the minimum and the maximum. So the minimum is going to be a variable. So we're going to go over to the tab 4 here. Variable. Let's select a variable. Which one do we have a spot with 2 of them free? Endurance max. Endurance current max. Wait, hold on. Okay, so I see a little overlap. I did a little problem here. I'm going to use 55 and 56. So I'm going to go into the game and make these real quick and show you how to update this. Go to like a blank comment event. And in the comment event, go to control variables. And select your variable. These are not used anymore. So I'm going to delete these. But then I'm going to use 55 and 56. I'm going to put in current stamina. And then I'm going to create one called max stamina. Current stamina, max stamina. Boom, boom. All right, all we have to do is say OK. And then we can delete this. We don't actually need to make a common event. We just needed to modify our database. So we did it in a common event, we hit OK, we saved it, but then we can just delete it. And then we save the game. You have to save the game, and then you go to HUD Maker. And we're going to say 55 for now and 56 for now, because even though it doesn't update right now, all we have to do is hit this little reload, but we can't do it while we're inside of this menu. So I'm going to set them to 55, 56 because I know that's what I'm using. I'm going to confirm, and then I'm going to hit reload and save. Now when I look at it again, you'll see it's using current stamina 55 and maximum stamina 56. Are you with me still? Are you with me, Kumis? Are you still here? Welcome back, Drag. So you got your current stamina and your maximum stamina, and you're just using 2 game variables. We put it inside a group, and then we made our gauge. And then the rest is kind of polish, and then the front is polish. You're still here, good. So now let me show you how to make the meat of the issue. We'll polish it afterwards, right? So let's put this right here. We're going to change the size, change the color, put all the text on it, but we're going to go into the game and actually make some kind of use for it. Let's go ahead and right click this and then move it to the right underneath the group and watch what happens. Boom. Now it becomes a child of this stamina group. And if I move the group, it moves everything inside of it. Or we can move it without moving the group as well. But now we've got our group, and we'll add our polish elements inside the group. Okay, we're going to hit save. We're going to go back into here. Now we have to decide how are we going to use our stamina bar, right? For me, I'm going to make it so that it starts at 0, and over time it just slowly fills up, and other things can use, other things that are like something you can't spam would have like a stamina requirement. So like certain special actions may take stamina, and that's the way I'll use it in my game. So I'm going to initialize this to start the player with 1 stamina. So let's go ahead and control variables. And we need to set our maximum too. Let me say that we're going to start with 1. We're going to set it to 1 for our current stamina. And then we're going to control the maximum as well and set it to an arbitrary number, whatever you think it should be. I'm going to set it to 100 to make it simple. So we have 1 out of 100. The bar should be mostly empty when we start the game. So if I were to say OK and restart the game, now obviously whenever you make a change to the game itself, you have to reload this with F5 or close it and restart it. If you just make a change with the HUD Maker, it'll automatically update it if you do this right here in the HUD Maker Ultra. Auto reload HUD data, set this to true, and then all you have to do is click off and click on it, and it will refresh all of the HUD data. Very, very useful. I love that function. But because we made a common event and we modified a starting common event, then we have to restart the game because the MZ engine doesn't run that way. Like, it needs to be reinitialized and everything. So now that we've set those variables, if we go to here, you see we have 1. We have a stamina bar. We only have 1 out of 100. So now we have to decide, how is it going to go? How are we going to gain stamina over time? Well, let me make something in the common events here. So when the game starts, we're going to turn on a gain stamina switch. We're going to control the switch and say gain stamina. Okay. So the game's going to start, it's going to turn on a switch, and that switch is going to give us the ability to run a parallel process. So what we're going to do here is say gain stamina, and we're going to set a trigger to parallel. And then we're going to select that switch we just created on the initialization event. Now, if you don't have, I should probably preface this, if you're wondering why is all of this running at the beginning of the game, all of this shit is running right here at the beginning of the game. And that is happening because I'm using a plugin to do that. It doesn't normally run Common Event 1 at the beginning of a game. But if you're using VisuStella's free core engine, you can go over to quality of life settings in the plugin parameters, scroll down to new game common event. It's at the bottom, new game common event. Double click that and select the common event that you want to run every time a new game is started. And I recommend you do this. Otherwise, you're going to have to set a lot of events, parallel processes on every map, because you move your character around. You want to test to start on it. It's a big mess without this in a lot of instances, because you want to test a map and you've got like your auto runs that flip switch on. Just trust me, use this free plugin and add like Common Event 1 or any of them to run to be your initializer, to set up all of the game data on a new game. Okay, we've covered that. Now you know why common event 1 is running at the beginning of the game. Initialize the game is good. All of this is going to happen, yada, 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 yada. So now you're caught up. We're setting this to 1, this to 100. We're turning a switch on, and we're creating a new common event that says, hey, whenever this switch is on, that we just turned on, run a parallel process. Well, what do we want to happen? Well, we're going to do a wait. We're going to do a wait because we don't want it to try to run like multiple times every frame. We only want this to run a single time a second. So every second, 60 frames a second in this case, because it's the way it usually runs, every second it's going to do some code, and it's going to keep going. So what we're going to do is change a variable. We're going to control our current stamina, and we're going to add 1 to it. But we need to run some checks, right? Because we've got a maximum. We said 100 is our maximum. So what we're going to do in front of that is we're going to say conditional branch. We're going to say if our current stamina is less than or equal to 99, which is 1 less than our maximum, then we're going to increase. So if we'd have 99 or less stamina every second, add 1 to it. So the moment that we have more, whenever this is false, if we have 100, that is not less than or equal to 99. So all it's going to do is wait. It's just going to wait, and it's going to do nothing. And it won't take up too much resources because it's only going to run once a second, and it's just going to run a check, and it's going to say once a second, do we have less than 100 stamina? If so, give them 1. If not, just wait. Check again in 1 second. And that's all that's going to do. So if we say okay, boom. You can also turn the switch off, but then you have to find a way to turn it back on again. Hey, Skepsis, how you doing? So because we made a common event change, we need to restart this. So let's go ahead and restart. All right, so let's go to here. So every second, you're going to see that this is going to be increasing. Okay, so you can see the bar's filling up, but it doesn't look all that great because we've done the entire stamina bar, right? But in order to make it good, you need to add that polish, that layer of depth and like detail. So what we're going to do is make it look good and make people understand, well, what the hell is this bar? We've made it already, you know, and it's functioning and it works great. We do need to test to see if it fills up and it doesn't go past the point of 100. So what we're going to do is polish it up now. Let's get that Neverdull out, shine up this silver. Okay, what I'm going to do is look at the pre-existing ones that I've already made, because now I want to create some sort of consistency. And I want this bar to look just like the 3 bars above it. So I'm going to look at the tech points gauge, and I'm going to get these numbers. 400 by 30, that's the depth and height. So we're going to go 400 by 30, boom. And now it looks the same. Well, let's see. I'm going to move this group inside of another group. This is the actor params group that controls these other things. So what I'm going to do is take this. First of all, I'm going to save it because it does crash when you try to mess with groups inside of groups sometimes. And I'm just going to drag it back there. Now the stamina group is part of the parent actor params group. We got the main group, actor params, and then individual. It does help a lot to stay organized when you make your group, so I recommend you do this instead of just a long list of 150 components. You know, at some point, you're going to be overwhelmed with your project, and it really helps to be able to do this. Be like, okay, I just want to look at this bar down here. And look, I've minimized everything, and I've got them all. It's simplified. Inside of here, I've got an equipment group if I want to look at just the equipment, and I've got the param group. I want to look at just the TP, or I want to look at just the equipment. So this is still in the main group, but I need to move it one back. I accidentally moved it into the TP group, so I'm going to move that down here. Now it's part of the actor params and the main group, but it's not like inside the TP because it doesn't need to be. But the equipment group, is it in the TP still? No, it's its own equipment group. It's part of the equipment group. Okay, what I'll do is drag it with the right click above this. Now, I can move this back. And now it's just Sometimes you gotta like move stuff around and move it up and move it down until you get it just right. But when you do, it pays off to stay organized. Okay, blah blah blah. Keep your desk clean essentially, and you'll get more work done. Bars for days. Okay, so let's create some components for it. Now that we're locked into this group, I want to match the X position so that it's lined up perfectly. Let's check the TP group. In fact, the stamina group should go above. Hold up. Stamina group, I want to be above the equipment group. Yeah, there we go. Let's check the position of this bar. The X position is 452, so I'm going to make that match over here, 452. Now you can just eyeball it if you want, but if you want, you know, you're going to have some OCD people that are bothered by a few pixels off here and a few pixels off there. Ultimately, it's up to your design, your own style, and that's fine. For stamina, I'm going to pick a color, maybe like green or something. So let's pick the minimum and maximum color. Let's go with a dark green for the minimum and then like a bright green for the maximum. It's the opposite of the progress one. All right, let's add some text components so the player understands what they're looking at. Clicking on where I want it to be, I'm going to click on the plus and add a text component, and I'm just going to call this stamina. Now this little box here is going to let you know what's on the component list, so this is for you to be clear. This text right here is what it's going to say, so I'm going to say stamina. I'm going to use a colon and a space because I'm going to put in some numbers after it. Select the right font, the right size. I don't know what size. Is it 28? Let's see. No, it doesn't look like 28. What am I using for the other ones? I'm using 30, so I didn't have to change it. 30. And we can change the color for the stamina font as well. Let's make it some kind of jade green, I suppose. We can always change it. We're going to constantly change stuff around. I'm going to change the alignment to be left, and I've got plenty of space to play here, so I'm going to bring this width down. And then I'm going to sort of eyeball it a little bit, but I do want to look at the X position of the text on the other ones, 333. And I'm just trying to create some kind of unison. Wait, where was that element? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So it got moved down. I'm going to right click it and move it to where I want it to be, above the stamina gauge, but in the group. Okay. And then I'm going to manually move it down by numbers. 190. Let's try that. Nah. Let's go up 185. 184, I guess. I kind of like that. 184. Now let's go down to 185, like I said. 186. That's good. All right. Now the player knows this is a stamina bar. Cool. What's the next thing we want to do? Let's display the numbers, the minimum number and the maximum number. Let's go ahead and click where we want to create it. Left click, add a component. It's just going to be a text component. It's going to say current stamina. Text. No, value. This is a value. We're pulling. You could say text or value. It's really up to you. It's, you know, however you want it to look on the component list. I'm saying value because I'm going to pull from a variable here. So I'm going to click on variable and I'm going to say find that one, current stamina, and display that amount in this font. We'll not need that much width, probably a lot less than that. 480. I mean, we're gonna go by eye here. Let's change the color to match as well. Let's pick that kind of jadish color. All right. And then we can create a new component. It's simply just a slash. It's just a text. So I'm going to copy this one, click here and paste it, bring it in here. And we're going to bring that, bring this down. And change the color to be that kind of jade color. And if you notice that it snaps around and it won't work the way you want, hold down the control button and move it around with left click. And you can get it to be pixel perfect wherever you want it to be displayed at. Obviously, these are not pixel perfect, and the more you pay attention to them, the more you're going to notice that. But there's a good chance that most players won't really know. And you can continue to add polish over time. Like, I feel like tech points is too high here. This is a little bit too high, but it's fine. We're going to add one more component. We're going to basically be adding the maximum stamina value. So let's go ahead and copy this component with Control-C, click here and paste it, and then let's edit this one. You're going to be doing a lot of copying and pasting. Another good reason why you want to add things to groups is because you can copy the group and paste the entire group with dozens of components in it. It's really useful. So this is stamina, maximum stamina value, and we're going to change the variable that it's looking at to be the next one. Yada, yada, yada. Boom. And drag that over, holding control to like line it up the best you can. Now what I can see here is I'm snapping, and this is aligning right, and this is aligning left. Let's do that. I'm going to click on this alignment right. Let's try to snap this. Let's click on this alignment left, and then maybe try to use snap to help. It's not in the right spot here. Maximum stamina current. There we go. So when you align it like this, it's going to keep the numbers close to the center point. Obviously, we're going to mess with this more and try to get it just fine-tuned. But that's the point of polishing. You keep messing with it till it looks perfect, absolutely perfect. It doesn't yet, but it will. All right, so let's hit save. And because these are all elements that we modified inside the HUD maker, we don't need to restart the game. And you can see it took us to 100 stamina, and it didn't fill up any more past that. So now we can find a way to consume stamina in whatever way we want to, and the stamina could as long as you check to make sure the player has stamina before you use it. Let's do a button, for example. Like, I don't know what I'm going to use this button, but I want to show that you can use the stamina and that it refills. So that will involve HUD Maker only again. So that's good. Let's save our progress here. And I'll make a new component right here, and it will be a shape. We're going to use a circle, and it's going to be 100 by 200. 200 by 200. A big button. Use stamina. And what we're going to do with this is have an add-on. We're going to click on the add-on and say on click. What we want to do is run some code. And when we click on it, we want to return a change. So let's do some setting up first. Let's say let a equal $game variables dot value of, what do we call it? What was the number? 54, 56? Hold on. Current is 55. So we're gonna create a temporary variable. Excuse me. And we're gonna set that to the value of whatever is currently in this right here. Then what we're gonna do is say if a is greater than 1, actually is greater than 0. So if a is greater than 0, then we're going to allow it to return a reduction. And then we'll have an else if as well. Else. Instead of else if, we'll just say else. We're going to take this return and put it here. So we have two cases. We're going to see if they have enough if they have at least 1 stamina, we're going to do a thing. And if they don't have at least 1 stamina, we're going to do a thing. In fact, let's make it take 5 stamina. Or 3. Because you're going to get 1 quick. So like 3 will give us enough time to see the differences in returns. So if they have at least 3 stamina, we're going to do, I don't know, something. A game message. Game message dot add I don't know. That's going to be really sucky because it's going to show a message every time you click on it. So let's make it take 10. You've used 10 stamina on doing a thing, right? But we need to take that stamina now. So first of all, before we do the return, we're going to say $game variables dot set value of 55 to let b equal a minus 10. We're going to set that to b. You can put this above it and scope it out, but because we're only going to use it here, it makes sense to scope it inside of this conditional. So what we're going to do here, let's start at the top. We're setting a temporary to the value that's stored in 55. We're seeing if the player has at least, has more than 10. So they'll never go to 0. So maybe we should say more than 9. Or greater than equal to would make more sense. So they have at least 10. They have more or equal to 10. And then we're going to say, create another temporary, set it to what they have minus 10, and then change the game variable to be the temporary. And then return a message saying you used 10 stamina. The other hand is going to say game message.add. You're lacking the required 10 stamina to do this. Whatever, right? Anything you want it to do. And the point here isn't to show a message. The point is to show that you can do anything you want with that stamina bar now. Let's make this bigger. I mean, barring any syntax code, or syntax error, that should work just fine. Now we can also put some text on top of this and say use 10 stamina text. And in your game, it could be like craft the item or do whatever, right? Do the thing, go mining, whatever it's supposed to do. So let's put these inside the stamina group. You do want the text to be above the button, which, I mean, below, underneath it in the component list, which will make it above the button. Okay. Now that's all handled right there inside the HUD maker, so we don't even really need to restart the game. If we click on that, you can see what happened. We've used 10 stamina, and look, it's constantly recharging every second. Boom, we've used 10 stamina. Boom, we've used 10, use 10, use 10, use 10, use 10, use 10, use 10. And it tells you that. We use 10, but then look, this is what should happen is say, you're lacking the required 10 stamina. You're lacking the required 10. Now you've used 10. You're lacking the... Do you see how it's all dynamic and everything? and like it's all in. Like, isn't that freaking awesome? Do you realize how hard that would be to code without the HUD maker? To make it, you save so much time. You save so much time. I recommend you do use it. I wish more people would make tools for RPG Maker, and I truly wish that they would be accepted. That they would be accepted as an addition, as an additional selling point instead of a competition type of thing. We need to move all of our ego out of the picture and think about the end user. And for the end user, this is a good thing. All right. Kumis says, thanks for your great tutorial as always, Fire. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you coming to our live streams and stuff. I like this. I'm going to leave this in here for now. It's not going to do anything besides just show that the functionality exists here. But at some point, I'm going to make a system, you know, in here, like the main systems. We've got lumberjack mining, smithing, fishing, all that stuff. At some point, I'm going to make it so you need stamina to do a thing. And the stamina bar will come back at 1 a second for now. And then maybe we'll make a buff that doubles that, or, you know, and then we can add an algorithm to the function that increases that variable. And to change that, you would just go over here and you run another conditional check. And like you can say conditional branch is switch double stamina on with an else handler. And then if double stamina is on, then you can do another thing. Actually, what we'd do is edit this and add an else handler here. Edit this one with no else handler. And put this one at the top. And then we can do... this would go here. And then this would give 2 a second. So now what we did is we said, do they have at least... and we'd have to change this up here. Because it can go to 101 now. So hold on, let me fix this real quick. Conditional branch. Okay, what we'll do is we'll check current. This is easy. And if it is equal to 99, then we're just going to add 1. So if double stamina is on, but they have... we need to do a jump to label. So we're going to do a label here. Label. Oh no, we jump to label here. Jump to label top. I always label with caps. And then at the beginning, we're going to label this one top. So what's going to happen before it tries to add 2, it's going to go here again. So now we've made a double stamina switch. Like we can add a buff or an item or something. And what's going to happen at the top is going to set this top as a label. Or going to set the top of the parallel as a label. And it's going to wait a second. And then it's going to say, do you have less than or equal to 99 stamina? If you do you have double stamina on? If you do you have 99 exactly? Then add 1 and go to the top. Because see, at this point, it's going to make sure that you won't go to 101. That's what the label and the jump to top and this thing is. But otherwise, say you're at 50 and you have double stamina on. It's going to say, do you have exactly 99? No, you don't. So add 2, and it completely skips this. If you have less than 100 and your double stamina, you get 2. And then it ends. Because this won't happen because it's on the else handler, but this would because it's just underneath it. right? So you have to do a jump to label here. It's a good showcase of why and when you would need labels. Because regardless, the way this is written, regardless if you have 99 or not, it will do this, and then it will also do this. So if you jump to label before it gets to this, it won't do this. It'll jump to label, boom, immediately. So it's going to like break to the top. Pretty cool little trick. But yeah, we just made a double stamina switch. And you can turn that on any way you want. And it's, you turn the switch on, you got double. You turn it off, you don't. And that's how it works. So that's pretty much it for today. Hey, Mikiri, Kosami. Love you, Drifty. You're the first person I tuned to for tutorials. Aw, love you back. Thank you so much. Hey, Manu. What's up, Manu? How you doing? Mikiri says, I started using RPG Maker a couple months ago. Welcome to the scene, and Drifty helped a lot. Well, I'm glad to help. Skeptic says, Drifty has a lot of great tutorials. I have a lot of old tutorials. Some people say they're great. I say they have bad audio, but that's fine. They're still helpful, I guess. Kumis says, stamina bar is so cool for my horror game project. Thanks for answering my question, Drifty. You explained very well. You're welcome. Guys, I gotta go. That's it for today. Love you very much. Thank you for coming to the live stream. We'll be back tomorrow with more stuff like this. I've got a lot of work to get done on this project, and I don't mind taking breaks to show off new features and how to do things, because I end up using that stuff anyway. So it's really cool. I love it when you guys ask questions, especially when I'm able to give you a good answer. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Join us on Discord. Follow us on Twitter, and we have a Patreon if you want to do that. So thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a fantastic day, and goodbye. Also, what's that?
I said bye.
Bye-bye. I thought you were going to go on and say something.
No.
What are you working on over there?
It's a secret.
Tell everybody your secret plans.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
Drag. Tell everybody her secret plan. No, don't do that.
Drag, you better not.
All right, bye, guys.